This is Mirabella's kitchen, and today I'm making chicken and wild rice soup. I start by preparing all of the vegetables, so everything's going to be peeled, diced, cut, and ready to go. I take 2 carrots and I peel the skins, and then I cut off the tips and I cut off the heads and I dice those carrots. Next, I dice 3 ribs of celery. And I dice 1 large yellow onion. But wait, can't forget my trusty equipment. Da-da-da-da! My goggles! Because onions are always fighting me nowadays. They're always making me cry. I take 1 package of cremini mushrooms, or Mirabella mushrooms is their alternative name, and I remove the stems. And then I quarter those mushrooms, using the flat side that the stems were just removed for a safe surface to be cutting on. And after that, I take all those vegetables that I just diced and sliced and put them into a bowl. I take 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs and I slice them into large pieces. In the process, I found a bone. There was still a bone in the chicken thighs, so just be careful. After all the chicken is nice and cut, I season generously with coarse kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper. I take my Dutch oven and I heat it over medium heat. You can also just use a normal stock pot or saucepan. And I add vegetable oil once it is hot, and then I add the chicken. I'm just trying to brown the chicken. I'm not trying to cook it all the way through because it's going to cook in the soup for a long time. So once the chicken has a nice color to it, I remove it and set it aside. I take the same Dutch oven and put 3 tablespoons of butter into it to melt. And then I add all the vegetables and mix everything together so it's coated in butter. I also add about 4 pinches of coarse kosher salt. And once the vegetables have cooked for 5 to 10 minutes and they're starting to soften, I add 2 heaping tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I stir the vegetables so they're coated in the flour and let that cook for a couple seconds before adding 2 cups of whole milk and 7 cups of chicken stock. I also add all of the chicken back in, and I have a little bundle of fresh thyme that I have tied with some butcher's twine so it's easy to retrieve later, and I just drop it into the soup. A light coating of freshly ground black pepper. Stir that and bring it to a boil. Once it has boiled, I lower the heat down to low and I cover it. I only want to boil it for maybe a minute or 2 before covering it and cooking it on low for 1 hour. After an hour, I add the rice. I'm using a 16-ounce package of wild rice. About halfway through, I season again with some more coarse kosher salt and some freshly ground black pepper. I cook the rice to package directions. My rice is 45 minutes. With soups, I try to taste them more frequently than the sauces I make because it's so easy to make a bland soup. I make sure the rice is cooked and that everything tastes great. And if the seasoning's right, I take out the thyme. Then I ladle up some soup. That's chicken and wild rice soup. It's a nice fall dish, nice hearty meal. Thanks for joining me today. I make new videos on cooking every Wednesday. Please support me on Patreon and on Facebook at Mirabella's Kitchen.